I have been actively trying to get into medical school since 2021. I'm making this video in 2024. So I do want to talk about the struggles that I go through at least a little bit. At first it just started in my personal life, but the fact that it leaked over into my work / academic life, I was not expecting that. Something else that a lot of people don't know is the medical application cycle is a year long. A year long. So I applied, rejected. You do the math. That's a lot of freaking money, but I did it because I was down for the cause. In the back of my mind, I always thought, I'm going to post once I know I've successfully completed this goal, but that hasn't worked for me. So hence why I brought out the camera today, because we are starting MCAT prep for the 4th time. Let's get into that. Hi guys, how are you doing? Good. I'm sure if you clicked on the title of this video, you're probably thinking, what have you been avoiding talking about, Erica? Like, what's going on? Why are you making this dramatic? Low-key, I've always wanted to make a dramatic YouTube video like this one. So I feel like I'm living out my childhood dreams. But unfortunately, I do have a rather dramatic, in my opinion, subject. I've been avoiding talking about this for literally since the M.E.D program ended in 2022. I've really been avoiding talking about this since I graduated college, and that is my medical school journey, or right now, I would have to say the lack thereof. And just to add to the dramatics of this, I have been actively trying to get into medical school since 2021. I'm making this video in 2024. That is so depressing to say. It feels awful saying it. I feel like I've grown so much as a person at the same time. The feelings that I have don't really room well together in my brain and in my body, but that's kind of why I want to make this video, because I'm not going to do a good job of telling this story, but I'm going to try my best. So first and foremost, let's take it back to my junior year of college. This is before I had the vlog. This is a whole different Erica that we're talking about. She went into college thinking that she was going to go to physical therapy school. Okay, that was her goal. That was her dream at the time. And, junior year is when really I did it all like freshman, sophomore year, but junior year is like when you really start to like branch out and reach out to different companies within the field that you're trying to work into. So my campus luckily had a physical therapy facility on campus. I remember shadowing there. I also shadowed a bunch of places back home. Throughout high school, throughout college, like I was just very involved in physical therapy, and I thought that's what I wanted to do. But somewhere along the line, I really want to blame my research class that I did. My research my freshman year kind of like sparked the idea of medical school in my brain, but my real reasoning for never pursuing it, or thinking about it when I was a freshman or a sophomore, was the fact that cheer was life. Okay, cheer was life from the ages of 3 to 20. I'll say 22 because I did code block a long time. 22, 23. I'm only 25 now. So I've only been not in the cheer world for 2 or 3 years. And really, can you ever leave? No, because my For You page would make you think that I'm still in the cheer world. Anyways, I'm getting off topic. Per usual. Where was I? So I've been shadowing different physical therapists. I've quote unquote worked. I don't know what the correct term is besides shadow, but I am going to consider some of the stuff that I did unofficial work, okay, in the physical therapy facilities, and I really did like it, but it just felt like something was missing, and I felt like I wasn't being challenged in the way that I wanted to be challenged, which just makes everything else that's to come just so much worse. I remember bringing it up to some of my friends that were pre-med in college, and they were like, no, like, we think you should look into it. Like, we think you should do it. We think you would really like it. Like, why don't you just see? And my response to them every single time without fail was, I don't know. I don't want to go to school for that long. I need to make sure that this is really the last thing on my list that I want to do. Like, if there's anything else that I could possibly think that I want to do, I should probably go that route, which sounds like dramatic, but like, I feel like that really helped me in the years to come because problems arise. But anyways, fast forward junior year 2020, COVID hits. Okay, COVID hits. I'm sitting in my microbiology class, and like, basically after COVID hit, it was just like a COVID class. Loved it. I loved looking, well, this is gonna, if you're not in the science world, this might sound a little bit morbid, but I don't mean it in a morbid way at all whatsoever. Definitely respect all of the hardships that came with COVID and like the loss and the tragedy. Like, not trying to say that that is awesome and amazing, but I loved looking at COVID as a whole. I love learning about what made this virus so much different than other viruses and how something like this could possibly happen. And like, this sparked a whole thing with like antibiotic resistance and learning about super viruses and this, that, and the third. And like, mind equals blown, okay? And then we started doing case studies in this microbiology class. You would have thought that I struck gold. You know how everyone was doing class from their bed? I was doing it too, but for microbiology, I would get up out of my bed, go to my desk. I don't even have that desk in my room anymore. Go to my desk, and I would log on for these case studies. Like, I was so excited to do these case studies. And I like fell in love with research that I had the next semester where we studied fruit flies and like looked at the different genomes and why they use fruit fly. Fruit fly is like, it's called Drosophila melanogaster. I'm not saying that right, but that's like one of the most basic eukaryotic genomes that researchers will use and like relate to humans. Like, back in the day, I'm pretty sure they still do it, but like back in the day it was like a thing, and we did a bunch of that. Loved it. I was like, this is revolutionary for me. Loved it. Then I took biochemistry. Loved it. Like, I just felt like as I became a junior and a senior, and you start to take all of these junior and senior level courses that applied to the real world, I was just loving what I was learning about. And then on top of that, I was going to shadow physical therapy, and it was like the curtain got ripped from my eyes. I was like, this is not what I thought it was going to be. Like, where's the research? Where is like the problem solving? Where, like, all these skills that I was learning in my undergraduate classes were not being applied there. It was more so very reactionary, like, okay, here's the diagnosis, we need to develop a game plan, we need to do this, we need to do that. And it was very, here's the orders, figure out a game plan to make sure that this new way of life, like, this person can cope with this new way of life, we can get them back to as close or 100% as possible. But it wasn't the problem solving and just the puzzle piecing information that I wanted for my future career after college. And that was kind of a hard pill to swallow, because when I tell you guys, there's a bunch of reasons why I didn't want to go to medical school. Mostly because I just didn't, I don't know, I never really thought about it, for one. I never really heard or listened to like people talk about it, or like all the work that goes into it. Like, I went into this decision completely blind, which is part of the reason why I started my YouTube channel. So if someone clicks on this, they won't go in completely blind like I did. I remember when my friend told me about this exam that you had to take an entry exam, I was like, oh, like GRE, like LSAT. She's like, no. I mean, yes, but like, no. It's 7.5 hours. I don't even want to, we're getting ahead. But let's just say that there was a learning curve, a steep learning curve for the application, and I didn't really understand all that you had to do. I understood that you needed to have the prereqs, and I understood that you needed to have volunteering hours and shadowing hours. Like, I understood all the stuff that you could look up online, but there's a lot of nuances and details that I feel like unless you have a doctor in your family, unless you know a doctor, you're not really gonna know. Or unless you've been researching for years and years and years, you're not gonna know. So I graduated during COVID, so I had no graduation. I was part of that class. I had no graduation. And I came back home. There was this thing called web shadowers. If you know, you know. I thought I struck gold when I found that. I was like, things are lining up for me. I have web shadowers. I did really good in the last like 2 years of my classes because I know that this is what I wanted to do. Like, I felt amazing. I found a doctor to write my recommendation letter. Like, I thought that I was on top of the world when I came into college. Okay, up until this point I've had like a few obstacles, obviously everyone does, but I haven't had at this point in my life any true setbacks. If you've watched me on this channel, I always say that when the clock struck 12 on my 20th birthday, so I was 19 turning 20, all you know what broke loose. Every single thing. At first it just started in my personal life, you know, like just different stuff. But the fact that it leaked over into my work slash academic life, I was not expecting that, because all of the obstacles that I've gone through since that day, I'm still sitting in them. So I can't even really talk about that too much. But anyways, I graduated. I was like, you know what, I'm going to give myself, what did I say? I graduated December 2020, and then I applied during the application cycle of 2021, 2022. So I don't know in my brain like how that made sense, but I thought that I gave myself a year off. I don't think that I did, looking back, or if it wasn't a true year off. But something else that a lot of people don't know is the medical application cycle is a year long. A year long. A year, like, once you start working on the application, it's a year. Like, you submit it a year before you hear anything. Like, obviously you have interviews and stuff like that, but like, you don't go in until the following fall. Summer, fall. I didn't know that. So I'm doing my little application. I'm getting things sent in. And like, when I tell you I'm not going to say you have to be a mega star to get in, but I felt like my first application, looking back, is it the best? No. Ooh. But me in that moment, I thought I was doing the thing. You know what I'm saying? Like, I thought I was killing it, basically. And so I applied to my schools. It's a lot of money. And when I say a lot, I mean a lot. I don't mean like $100, $200. I mean a couple $100. Like, I'm talking about, like, you could easily get into the $1,000 range. I probably did, because after you spend money on a prep course, which I did for the MCAT the first time, which we'll get into that. I used Kaplan the first time. Then you have your primary application, which costs money to submit. Then you pay for every single school that you apply to. Okay, that's a lot of freaking money, because you are recommended to apply anywhere between, I think they say 10 to 20 schools. Like, it's a lot, and each school probably costs somewhere around $100. You do the math. That's a lot of freaking money. But I did it because I was down for the cause. I did it. Anyways, I apply. My MCAT score has never been the best. Even to this day, it's never been the best. But I don't really know what I was thinking the first time. Like, what I know now, would I have applied with that score? No. No. But I don't know. Like, I've always heard people say, like, oh, if you're like close to a 500, like, you're going to be fine. And I was advised by the people at the test prep company, you're good. Go. So I applied, get rejected. I don't let this stop me. I'm like, you know what? I wasn't ready to go anyways. And I was not, in 2021, 2022, I was not ready to go to medical school. I've always been mature for my age, but looking back, I was immature emotionally. I don't think I could have handled everything that I was going through at that point in time on top of medical school. I don't know. I needed a lot of more help academically with certain things, and just the whole shebang, which we'll get into. So I take a year off, and actually it was a true year off. I took a true year off and I did code black. So during my code black time, this is when I'm like starting to realize, okay, there's a lot of things that I need to strengthen about my application, and basically I'm gonna rebuild this bad boy from the floor up. Okay, build it from the floor up. I applied to M.E.D. I don't tell a single soul besides Melanie, because she read over like my essays and stuff, which I don't think that that's bad. But I don't tell anyone. I don't tell my mom. I don't tell my dad. I don't tell my sister, my brother. I don't tell anybody on my cheer team until we're a week away. And I tell one of my good friends on the team, Deja, I tell her, because I'm like, I can't hold it in. Like, in a week, I'm going to know whether or not I get into this program. And from my understanding with the M.E.D program, I thought that once you get into that, like, you're set. You're set. You're elite. You're the baddest out there. You're going to learn so much, and it's going to put you so far ahead that you're never going to hear a no again. Low key is what I thought. Like, and so I applied. I get it. Okay. I want you guys to understand how happy I was when I got in. I had the worst practice of my life. I got screamed at. Actually, the whole team got screamed at multiple times. Multiple times. And it was to the point where my teammates were like, why is Erica walking around smiling? I was like, nothing's killing my mood right now. Like, Deja low-key just kept laughing at me because she was like, this girl is so happy. This girl is so happy. And I think I told like one of my other friends, which is she was on the team with Callie. She just recently came to Callie's grad party, Dania. And like, it was just a good time for me. Like, I understand what we were going through was not fun. Like, running around, that was not fun. But like, mentally, I was like, nothing can kill my vibe. So I finished CB, and I think I have like, Worlds is like in April, and M.E.D starts in like end of May, June. So I'm like, I'm getting ready. Hold that thought. Okay. Sorry, that was Melanie calling me. I don't know where I left off, but anyways, got into the M.E.D program. It was amazing. Okay, if you thought I was coming on here to talk bad about the M.E.D program, you're wrong. Most people would have been upset to be studying that hard all summer long. I thrived. I have not been that happy since. I'm not even being dramatic. I loved the videos I created back then, although, you know, the editing has gotten better in my personal opinion. I love the videos I created back then. I loved the environment. I love the students. I love the teacher. I love the campus. I love everything about the M.E.D program. Every single thing about it. But I do want to stress, because I've gotten a lot of DMs about this and a few messages and comments, and I went in with the same expectations of, if you get into the M.E.D program, if you get a good grade, like if you get recommended or highly recommended, and you get like a recommendation letter out of it, that you will get an interview at UNC Chapel Hill. That's what I thought. That is exactly what I thought. That is what a lot of people in my class thought. And I don't know if we were told this. I don't know if we made this up. It's like a superstition. I'm pretty sure you can find it on Reddit. I'm here to break that superstition and say that is not true. At least not for me. It is not true. Because now we're getting into post-M.E.D. Post-M.E.D, I talked to a lot of great people that sit on the admissions of medical schools. I talked to lots of doctors during M.E.D program, and all of the people at M.E.D, like, they review your whole application and tell you what you need to work on. And so for the rest of 2022, and I will say 2023, January, February, March, April, May, all the way up until you can start applying in May, I was working like a dog day and night, studying for the MCAT, shadowing the doctors, working on personal statements, working on secondary essays, like just doing everything that I possibly could to strengthen my application. I also got a job. Like, I was just doing things, one, to keep my nerves low, two, to just show like I am versatile, I am committed, I am hardworking, I have good time management, I'm a good leader. Like, I was just doing everything that I can, as is everybody else, okay? And so I apply, I feel good about it. I had to take the MCAT again. This is now MCAT trial number 3, by the way, which we'll get into my MCAT takes in a minute. I like didn't get the score that I wanted, but when I talked to the doctor that I shadowed, when I talked to different people, it's hard because although everyone's like, it's not good, but like no one is ever gonna say like don't apply or like don't go for it if you're so close to where you were. Like plenty of people have gotten in with the score that I have. Let that sink in. That is where my brain is at this point in time. Plenty of people have gotten in with the score that I have. I've seen multiple TikToks about it. I've read Reddit posts about it. I know people in my personal life. I know people that applied the same cycle as me with the same score that have gotten in. Keep that in mind. So I apply. I start working at the coffee shop. If you watch my vlogs, I'm really going to try to like reference moments like that so you know if you ever want to go back and see how I was doing mentally. Like, you might hear me talk about like, oh my gosh, like I just had the worst day ever. Like, oh my gosh, blah, blah, blah. Go back and watch, because this is like real lifetime. One of my goals, this is a little side note, is to be as real and authentic on this channel as possible as in regards to my medical journey. But at the same time, I feel like I do have to proceed with caution, because I don't ever want to like regret saying something, because once you say it, it's out there forever. Like, this video is making me very, very nervous, just because like I'm telling all of my business. All of it. All of it. So like, I just have to be, I feel like I have to be careful, as does everyone who decides to post on the internet. But I do want to give you little snippets, and if you can go back and piece it together and you message me about it, I'll tell you. I'll be like, yep, that was that moment. If you don't guess, I'm not going to tell you though. But anyways, so I start working at the coffee shop. Everything's going fine. Everything's going dandy. I am doing secondaries like when I first get there. And then it like, something about the medical school process is it starts to go ghost silent. I learned that from the first time that I applied, not to really get too discouraged, but like, there's certain points where if you haven't heard anything back for an interview, it's not looking good. So I start getting to that point, okay? And I'm like not doing well. Well, let me back up. Let me tell another story. After I apply, I get an email from one of my top medical schools, one of my top choices. And I'm like, oh my God. I'm standing at Barnes & Noble's in line to get my coffee. I'm like, oh my God. It's my moment. It's my time to shine. Because in my head, I'm like, if I can just get an interview, I'm golden. I'm golden. I don't know why I feel like that, but I feel like you have to have confidence, and you have to be a little bit like, you know, if you're not going to be confident and delulu about your own self, who's going to? And I'm serious about that. But anyways, so I'm like, oh my God, it's my time to shine. Click on the email. It's like a scene from like a movie where everything just starts to get blurry. Like, I'm about to start crying, because in the email, it did not say that I was rejected. It did not say that yet. It just says, hi, you don't have a requirement fulfilled. I don't have a requirement fulfilled. And at this moment in time, guys, I am pissed, okay? I have combed every detail of this application. I have showed it to so many people. What detail am I missing? What class requirement have I not fulfilled? I made sure that I've taken all the classes. And at this particular school, I know that for most of your prereq courses, you do have to have a C or better. So I'm like, I have mostly good grades, mostly A's, some B's. I was like, I only have, I think, one C, and I see the class. And if you guys have ever, I keep saying this, but if you watch any of my videos and I talk about school, I always said I loved college, I loved all the classes, but I would never retake organic chemistry 2 because it was awful. And I see the name pop up, and it's like, hi, you need to retake this class. You have a C minus, and we require a C or better. Fair. But at the moment in time, at the place in time, I am distraught, to say the least. Okay, I learned this information back in, like, I'll say like June, July. It was very early on. I freak out, of course. I'm crying. I don't even get my coffee. I don't even get the coffee. You know I'm upset. I don't even grab the coffee. I leave Barnes & Noble's empty-handed. No coffee, no books, nothing. I get in the car. I have to go pick up my baby cousin at the time. I don't know how I got there. God truly was watching over me and guided my car there, because I was crying so hard I could not see. I was hyperventilating, tears. It was ugly. It was disgusting. It was awful. Like, I called my mom, I called my dad, and I'm like trying to sound brave, and they're like, are you okay? And I think my parents are out of town. Like, they're in another state out of town. I am not doing well at all. So I like call Melanie, and she's like, calm down, like, you can do, because I've graduated. I've been out of school for 2 years at this point. I'm like, how do I go back? I don't even know how to go back. What do I do? Like, how am I supposed to retake this course? Like, I just cannot.
I mean, they're all dead. Everyone is dead. So what am I supposed, I mean, how am I gonna, I can't even, there's nothing left for me anymore. Ah!
Elena, I need you to calm down.
No, I can't.
Think logically at this point. So she's like, calm down, you can do a non-degree seeking program, and I'll get into all that later. So we like figure it all out. I'm trying to register for the classes right then and there, and they're like, no, Pookie, you cannot register for, this is what made me angry. I missed the deadline to register at my home university by, I think it was like a week. Like earlier that week it was open and it was closed when I got this news. So once again, I'm upset. I'm like, what the heck? Like if I could have taken it in the fall, I feel like I would have been fine. I would have been fine. But it was the fact that I now had to wait months and months and months to register and then take it in the spring. I didn't like that. I didn't like that one bit. So I think my alma mater was still open, but I was like, what am I gonna do? I'm gonna travel 6 hours, stay where and take the course. Like, it doesn't make sense. Like, it's just, you have to wait and it's just not your time yet. That was my first lesson of it's not your time yet. Actually, my first recognizable message. I feel like I've been getting that message since 2020. But, you know, whatever. Fast forward, I'm working at the coffee shop and I was like, you know what? Not really, this is kind of exaggerating. Like, wanted to go there, heart this university. But I was like, you know what? Frick them. Like, if they don't see my potential, someone will. And they didn't even tell me no. They just said you had to take this class. So I start getting rejection letters. And I get a few from like out of states because you have to apply out of state. And I'm like, you know what? It's fine. I get one that's like, hey, like, you're out of state, but if you have a family member that went here, like, you're good to go. Like, we'll review your application. But I was like, nah, I don't have anyone that went there, you know, which I feel like is another important lesson that needs to be talked about more. But anyway, so I get some rejections from out of state. It's not really hitting. I get one from my #1 school. The #1 place that I wanted to go to rejected me. This doesn't make sense to me, only because, like, I told you guys, I thought that if I did the M.E.D program, I would get in. Like, I thought, or like at least get an interview. Like, I did well in the program. Like, I am at work and I am trying my hardest not to bawl my eyes out. Tiana's there. I think she told me that she could tell that something was off, but like obviously she wasn't gonna bring it up if she like even knew what was going on. I like was just so ready to get off and to go home so I could cry in peace. I like call my mom, call my dad. They're out of town again, by the way. And I just was like, this sucks. I think I was sad, but I was like, you know what? Like, you have other schools, just keep going. So let's fast forward to I start taking organic chemistry too, which I have a whole playlist of. You can watch it. And I think this vlog is titled, I should have titled it I Can Do It With a Broken Heart, but Taylor Swift's album wasn't out yet. It's titled like, I don't know, like something sad. And I was really sad in the vlog. At least I can tell I'm really sad because I get a rejection from said place that I'm taking this class at, who has recommended me to take this class. No interview. And I'm like, I can't even tell you guys, like, just to be real and honest, and like not in a bitter type of way, just in an informative type of way. I thought since you guys are telling me to take this course, you're actually considering my application. Like, you're thinking about giving me an interview. And like in my head, like if you don't even get an interview, it's like something is wrong with your application. Something is wrong with you. Well, that's kind of dramatic, but like, I don't know. I don't know how in my head, like it makes sense in my head, but like I thought, oh my gosh, like they told me to retake this course. Like I just need to fix this course and then they'll give me an interview. Like in my head, I thought that they were going to wait. And this is so honest. I thought they were going to wait until the first exam and be like, hey, how's the class going? Have you had your first exam yet? Like, since it is at this facility and they have easy access to go and see what my grades are, I just thought in my head that's what they were going to do, or reach out to me, or like I was planning on reaching out to them after like the first 9 weeks or something like that. I don't even know. After the first exam for sure. It's like a week before my first exam too, guys. And I get this rejection letter and I take it bad. I take it bad. I'm like, why am I even in this course? Do I want to stay in this course? I was never going to leave. But like, I was like, I don't even want to do this anymore. Like, taking it so badly. So badly. Like, I have no words. I remember talking to Melanie about it. She was upset. I called my friend Alex. He was upset. Like, everyone's upset for me. And at this point, I'm like, I'm not getting in this cycle. I'm not getting in. It's not funny. But like, that's kind of where I'm at now. Like, well, more developments. But anyways, I like go to my mentors. And it's like a humbling thing when you're applying to medical school, because I feel like if I could just do it in secret, like how I did with the M.E.D program, it would be no big deal. But you have to have people basically sign off saying that like they support you in a way. They're writing you letters of recommendation, like that we recommend this person. We think that this person would be good for medical school. You have to tell them, you have to keep in contact with these people. You have to keep them up to date on your progress. At least that's what I like to do. And like, this is like the second time I've applied. I'm like, oh my gosh, they're gonna think I'm the biggest loser ever. Like, they probably think this girl is so crazy. Like, at this point, I'm thinking every worst thing possible. I'm 3 years out of college. I'm coming up on my 4th year out of college. I am 25. Well, at the time I was still 24, but like, I'm about to be 25. Like, I have nothing, is how I felt. I felt like I had, if there was anything else that could have been ripped away from me, that's kind of dramatic. But like, in my mind, I was like, besides my family and my friends, like, this is the worst thing that could have happened. Like, anything else, please, anything else. And you know what's so crazy is, like, I remember when I was doing my secondaries, rushing to get done with the last secondary that I had for one of the schools that was out of state, because I had like a family member that was actively dying, and I was like, once I get the call that this person has passed away, like, I'm not gonna be any good. I'm like almost there. I'm like a sentence or two away, finishing. And my dad comes in, tells me this person has passed away. I didn't even let myself process that until I was done. Like, I feel like no one tells you. I mean, it's kind of an understatement, but life keeps happening when you're trying to do this rigorous thing that you have set out to do, achieve this rigorous goal. Like, life keeps going. People die, people have babies, people get married, people break up, you get married, you break up. Like, there's a whole lot of things that happen while you're trying to get into medical school. And I feel like for me, I don't know if I just like thought it was going to be this easy thing when I graduated college, but I definitely didn't think it was going to be this hard. So I finished out organic chemistry 2 very strongly, not to toot my own horn, but that's kind of where I've been at. I've recorded so much footage of me studying for the MCAT this past time. I actually just cleared out this SD card which had all my MCAT studying from 2023, deleted it all. It's not gonna see the light of day because I just feel like it's kind of pointless, and that's why I never posted it, because in the back of my mind I always thought I'm going to post once I know I've successfully completed this goal. But that hasn't worked for me. So hence why I brought out the camera today, because we are starting MCAT prep for the 4th time. Let's get into that. The first time I took the MCAT was in 2021. I used Kaplan, went into it knowing nothing, only used Kaplan, and I didn't do well at all. Second time, I like signed up really quickly after the first time I took it and tried to take it a second time. Backfired. Don't do that ever if you're not prepared. Don't think that you're magically just going to get a good score. I don't even know what I was thinking with that one. Third time, I prepped so hard. I used Blueprint. I prepped so hard. And like these courses that I'm taking are not like $500, $600. They're in the $1,000 range. Thousands. I could have had a Louis, I do have a Louis Vuitton, but like I could have had a Christian Dior. Honestly, I could have had a Christian Dior. I could have bought 15 million cookout trays. I could have bought so many things with this money. But anyways, I used Blueprint for the 3rd time. I really did enjoy Blueprint, and I might use them again for like practice exams. But I got like a private tutor through the company, and she was amazing, really helpful. Did I do well? No. Not well enough. Not well enough. Which, granted, like I said, this past score that I have, plenty of people have gotten in. Guess it just wasn't for me. Guess it just wasn't my time. I feel like I'm forgetting something, but no. This is my 4th time taking it, and I feel like I've just been alone and ashamed in my journey, and I don't want to feel like that anymore. I want to be as open as possible without feeling like I'm literally exposing myself on the internet, just because I really do feel like it could help someone, because I was so clueless, and I've watched YouTubers go through this, and like they've used Kaplan. That's part of the reason why I used Kaplan the first time. Someone that I still watch and loved used it, did well, and went. They didn't disclose any of their scores though, so I feel like I don't know. No one really talks about their scores. It's taboo. Maybe I'll do it at the very end of this. But I don't know. You do have to be careful because people are rooting for your downfall. Just remember that. I've made a lot of changes in the past few months while I've been like off camera and studying. I've been studying since January, February, March, April, May. I would say late May, early June, a little bit, but I need to pick it up because we have some dilemmas. One, I didn't want to go into the fall and the winter studying for this exam, but the last test date of this year is September of 2024. Do we think I'm going to be ready by then? I don't know. I don't think so. So it looks like I might be studying through the winter, which is the worst. Because of all the holidays and family and, you know, but it must be done. Anyways, I'll tell you some of the things that I've been using. My camera's about to die though. But I've been using UWorld. I bought UWorld. I haven't used UWorld before, so I figured I'd give it a try. And I've been doing Anki. Dedicated. Okay, I'm not trying to miss any days, so I've been doing Anki. I had to look up a tutorial on how to do Anki because when I first tried to use it, I was like, I don't know what I'm doing. I literally downloaded the Miles Down Anki deck that everyone talks about. I remember downloading it in like 2021, 2022, one of those years. And I just started going. No rhyme or reason, no method, no suspending cards. I didn't know about any of that. So I will walk you guys through that later on tonight. But the reason why I started vlogging is because I'm doing really good at getting out of my house and studying in the mornings. But when you're taking this exam, you do have to put a lot of time and effort into it. I'm not saying I'm going to be studying 12 hours a day because that's just, I can't do it for that long. I tried in the beginning and I burnt myself out. Like, it's giving 4 to 6 hours on a good day, you know, minimum 4, max cutting it off at like 8. Some days will be longer, some days will be shorter. You guys get the gist. But anyways, where was I going with that? It's so hard to do these videos. My brain can't keep up. Oh, why I started. I do a really good job of studying in the mornings. My camera just died. I'll be right back. Okay, I gotta hurry this up, guys. I gotta go to the gym. But what was I saying? Oh, no. Oh, I don't do a good job at studying when I get back home from said first study session. So what I'm thinking is study 3-4 hours in the morning, study 3-4 hours at night. I feel like that is feasible, but the only issue is like I low-key take a long time to like rejuvenate. Like if I stop studying at 2-3, I'm not ready to start studying until 7. So I need to work on that. But at least for like 3 hours, like I need a long break in between. I feel like I addressed everything that I wanted to, but yeah, that I kind of have just been like not ashamed, but like scared. Like I don't know if it takes other people this long or if other people have had this difficult of a journey or this many setbacks, and like I didn't even get into all the setbacks, but the major ones. Like I feel like I owe it a little bit because I did post about M.E.D online, so I do want to talk about the struggles that I go through at least a little bit, but at the same time I don't want anyone to think that like,
oh, she's so dumb, she's so stupid, like she can't be a doctor.
Because if anything this process has taught me is that I can. Just because I think that you have to work really hard and have a lot of fortitude and mental gumption to keep going. And I feel like this experience and this amount of like setbacks and just heartbreak has taught me that. Yeah, that's kind of where I'm at. And I want to take you guys along with me. And I'm going to be sharing everything real time. I don't know if I'll be vlogging everything real time. I don't know when I'm going to post it. I'll probably wait till after my MCAT to post it, to be honest with you guys. Or I'll post at least the first part before I have my score back, which is so scary. But I also have it in my mind that I'm not signing up for another test if my score isn't where I want it to see it on a practice exam, which I feel like is pretty like self-explanatory. And I don't want to say that I've gotten bad advice, even though like I low-key kind of have. I feel like at the end of the day, it's everyone's own decision on whether you think you're ready to take the MCAT. And like if you've already signed up for a date, you're kind of cooked. Like you got to take it or like push it back. But like I also don't recommend pushing it back but so many times because you really do get burnt out. And I learned that this past time because I had a certain date and I pushed it back thinking that I could get my score up more. And like had I just taken it the first day, I might have been a little bit closer to my goal score because I was right around there. And then like you like hit this like plateau a little bit and you just start to get tired because it is a lot. Like we'll talk about it some more because I want to get into what to expect, what materials are out there, what I have used and what I am going to use. But this journey has been humbling. I've been avoiding talking about this because I feel like a failure, or I did. I feel like my normal self again, where I don't really let too much from the outside or too many opinions of others sway what I'm gonna do. But I feel like if I would have posted about this or talked about it in one of my organic chemistry vlogs, I don't think I would have been ready. And it's still a little bit nerve-wracking to just voice to everyone that I failed 3 times. And I applied twice and I've been rejected twice from multiple medical schools. That is embarrassing to say, but I feel like if this can encourage anyone in any avenue, in any aspect of life, to just keep going with your dreams, it's not going to be easy. And it's not supposed to be easy. If it was easy, it probably isn't going to fulfill you in the long run. And you're probably doing something wrong if your biggest dream in life is super duper easy to get to. Like, I just don't think that that's how we're built as humans. I feel like as humans, you're always aspiring to achieve bigger and greater things, and to just, it's good to be content, obviously, but I feel like there's a lot of gray area. And if I was just content with what I had and everything that I had, and I wasn't working towards any goals or dreams or aspirations, I'd be miserable. And you know why I can say that? Because that was me. Here's where I'm at. I'm gonna work hard and I'm gonna study hard for the next few months and see where I'm at. I'm gonna do some evaluations along the way and probably let you guys in on that. Definitely gonna do one in August to see if I can take the last exam that they're offering. My hopes aren't super high on that, but come like January or February, I need to be ready to take this thing and hopefully get a good score. If for some reason it does not work out and I cannot get a good score on this exam, it's not the end of the world. I have a different avenue that I've thought of, and I know what everyone says, if you could see yourself doing anything else, you probably shouldn't be doing this. And I said it too. I thought that too. But it's just the clock is ticking. I don't want to sit here for another 10 years trying to get into a profession that is just completely rejecting me. And maybe it's God's redirection, I don't know. I'm telling you guys this from where I'm at right now. And I have to keep moving forward, whether it's in the direction of medical school or in another direction. I plan on vlogging either one. But I just can't. I don't want to sit and feel how I feel for 2 or 3 more years. You know what I'm saying? I don't want to feel like the one thing that I want more than most things in this world does not want me. And that is dramatic, but that is how I truly feel. When I got those rejections, I felt like I had been broken up with. Literally. Cried in my bed like a baby. Couldn't even if someone was talking about something academic, I felt tears behind my eyes. I don't want to feel like that for the next 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 years trying to get in. At some point, I have to just believe for myself, and it might not be for everyone, but I have to believe for myself that maybe this is God's hand of protection over me, and this is not the path that I'm meant to go down. But for right now, I feel it in my beans. I don't know what my beans are. I feel it in my bones that this is where I'm supposed to be and this is what I'm trying to do. And maybe I needed to go through all this to either share about it online or to develop my own personal faith, which it has been testing and developing me so much. It's made my relationship with God a lot stronger and a lot, I don't want to say weaker, but at the same time, it's tested it a lot. And I feel like I've really just had to realize that, at the end of the day, if I only have God, that's going to be okay. Because when I'm telling you guys this, I really have nothing. And I'm not saying that in or choose me, pick me type of way. I really mean I have nothing. I have important things. I have my family, I have my friends, I have my relationship with Christ, I have good health, but all the things that you see online, because I'm online chronically like everybody else. Fancy this, fancy that, boyfriend this, fancy job, get to do this, get to travel here. I don't have any of that. I'm in this room 90% of my life. I only leave to go to the gym and to go to various coffee shops to study. Honestly. I don't, when I get super stressed out, I read a book. I travel in my mind through the pages of a book. So I just want to be completely honest and just real and get this off my chest, because I have been avoiding talking about it. I've even had people message me and I feel the heart palpitations. Is that the right word? I feel my heart speed up when people ask me questions about like, how did your medical application go? Like, did you get in? Or like, hey, did you get an interview to Chapel Hill after the M.E.D program? Or like, hey, like, what's going on? I haven't heard you talk about it. Like, where are you at? Like, what's going on? Why have you not updated us? This is why I've been ashamed and sad and embarrassed and alone. But I want to thank the people that have been there for me through this journey, because have I pulled back from my friendships? Have I stopped hanging out with people because I tried to study for 14 hours a day? Did I think that that was going to get me somewhere? Did it? Like, I feel like at some point, there's something in my eye, that's why I feel like at some point, for me and for other Christians out there, you really do go through something that causes you to depend solely on God. Like, there is no rhyme or reason to the things that happen to you or the obstacles that you have. Like, it doesn't make sense. Like, you feel like it just doesn't align with where your life was going and where it is now. That's how I feel about this situation and other situations that I've had to deal with. Like, personally, academically, I have never been lower. I have never been lower. And I feel like this just really taught me to not define myself by like money or status or achieving or having a great job or career. Like, I am solely defined as a daughter of Christ and as a Jesus lover. And if that's not enough to make me happy, then I have to take a time out and get my priorities and my heart and but get like myself in check, you know. And I feel like that's where I'm at now, because, you know, it has been a struggle. And I want you guys to understand, if you're watching this and you're like, but you're not struggling the way that I am. I am. Every single thing that could possibly be negatively thought about myself, I probably thought about it in the past week alone. Like, it's just a lonely and a hard time. But at the same time, I'm deciding to pick myself up and go sit at my Father's feet and figure this thing out. I'm going to vlog it. I'm going to work hard. I'm going to have faith. I'm going to stay consistent. I'm going to be dedicated. And just do it. Do it to the best of my abilities. And then if it doesn't work out, it doesn't work out. Like that one person says, I think it's Kerry Washington from, what's that show? I haven't even watched it, but I watched the TikTok clip and I was like, that's me. If it's not my bus, it's not my bus. If it's not my time, it's not my time. I feel like these past times, what's so crazy is, each time I don't get in or I don't get a good score, I am immediately see why. Immediately. When I didn't do good on this past MCAT, first of all, I took the MCAT. Let me give you guys a little backstory. I did vlog the whole thing, but as I said, I trashed it. I remember telling the vlog, it was all organic chemistry and I didn't know how to do that. Like, it was so chemistry based. Like, it was so hard. And chemistry is only supposed to be 15% of the MCAT. Like, or organic chemistry is only supposed to be 15%. I kid you not, every single passage that I had was organic. I think about that in my sleep now because I know how to do all the problems that kept me up for months after I took it. And it only occurred to me that when I was taking the organic chemistry class, how much organic chemistry is actually swindled in throughout the chemistry section and biology section of the MCAT. Like, it's crazy how many things I've had the realization of after the fact, which sucks, but I feel like it's just making me stronger. So that's where I'm at. I'm trying to think, is there anything else I want to say? I'm going to come back after I go to the gym tonight and try to sit down and do a few more things. I'll fill you guys in later, but I need to go for a walk because it's 6:46. Also, it feels like it's 100 degrees outside. It's actually only 98 though. I'll talk to you guys later.